Hey, you're watching Vinyl for Miles, your best resource for music and vinyl reviews. Today, we're going to be doing a music review of Dance Gavin Dance's newest release, Afterburner. Stick around. Right, exactly 1 week ago from today's posting, Dance Gavin Dance officially released the physical format of Afterburner. I've been waiting quite a while to get this record in and do a review of it. We're gonna start off with the physical format. So this is the standard album cover that you see here, and this actually came inside of my special edition album that I bought. So I purchased this through Urban Outfitters, and it looked like this when it arrived to me. It was a blue album cover, which I thought was quite interesting, given that this album is all based off of red. So this is an exclusive pressing from Urban Outfitters, and what happens is inside of the blue pressing, you get the normal album cover too. So it's kind of like a 2-for-1 special on this. You get the blue album cover, which looks pretty rad, and the red album cover. And it looks like they're using the same artists that they do for pretty much all of their album covers except for their first 2 albums, I think. This is their take on Baphomet. So you can see the kind of satanic magic imagery here with, this is supposed to be like a Baphomet figure doing the peace sign like is typically seen with figures of Baphomet. And in the back we have like some people being burned on a fire. You have some devils. And Baphomet is actually a robot, which sticks with the theme from a lot of their albums. Yeah, so check that out. So one thing that Dance Gavin Dance did recently was they went through their back catalog, they remastered a few of their albums so they sound a little more better on the production side, but they also released instrumental versions alongside it. So I can't find an instrumental version of this online right now, but I did hear that if you purchase this from Target, it's a 2 CD package, and it does come with the instrumental mixes if you're interested in that. It did come with an insert with, again, you have the nice artwork on here. Has all of the lyrics here, kind of a fold-out poster edition. All of the lyrics and then all the credits on here, which some of these lyrics are absolutely hilarious if you dive into it. And then the edition that I got is actually a clear splatter. It's clear with blue splatter on it. Here you go, here's what it looks like here. And I will tell you right now, rating this vinyl, not 180 gram, nothing special, and it's actually half clear, half splatter, and that's usually not a good sign for audio quality, but this sounds identical to the WAV files that I was able to download for this album. Very, very happy with how the sound turned out. And then this is the hype sticker that comes on the Urban Outfitters edition. Physical media is now out of the way. Why don't we dive into these songs? First impressions for me when I plugged this in was the production value on this is insane. So what's going on here is it's very rare to hear 2 guitar parts playing the same thing with their music, especially on this album. So what's going on production-wise is there's 1 guitar part panned hard left, 1 guitar part panned hard right. So if you were to listen to this and just pan to the left, it'll be a completely different guitar part than the right. They're experimenting here and doing more of a panned approach with the guitar. So, and most of these guitar riffs are not easy. A lot of tapping on this album, 2-hand tapping with the guitar, a lot of syncopated riffs. So it's pretty interesting when you put your headphones on to hear what's going on. Production of this album is insane, sounds great. If you crank it, it sounds awesome. The drum sound for this is fat and very articulate. The bass picks up where it needs to. As I mentioned, the 2 guitars panned left and right sounds super good. Across the board, the consistency of Tillian's voice is dead on. He's hitting some notes that I haven't heard him hit in quite a while. And he's experimenting with some lower stuff too. As he's progressed as a singer, you can hear there's a little more rasp on his voice, and I think that gives him so much more character than other singers. Like if you were, to compare them to like Sleeping with Sirens or other bands that have higher singers, he's really matured into his voice now, and it shows. John Mess, who does the screaming, he's been consistent for like 10 years now. I can't believe how consistently and how precise he's gotten down screaming to like a science. And if you watch them live, he'll just be sitting there like little effort. You can see very little movement in the neck. Exerting less effort usually results in a healthier vocal style. So the fact that he has this down to a science and still sounds just as good as he did 10 years ago is blowing my mind. All right, so starting off with the opener, the song is called Prisoner and is one hell of an opener. Has a very, very proggy intro guitar riff, which you can hear here. Sounds like some kind of cool tapping or some kind of effect that he's using on his guitar, but it is a very strong riff, probably one of the coolest riffs I've heard in quite a while. The song then kicks in with the full vocals. It's more of actually a kickback song if you listen to it from the feel and the dynamics of the song. Have you always known that? Now the mix on this song is excellent. The vocal melodies were crafted very well. There is spots where we do have the screaming, but what's cool about this is the screaming is over a much more mild guitar sound, so it's not really metal. It's very unique the way you listen to it. The hook on the chorus is also really good too. He hits these notes that kind of just soar over one another. So overall, this is a great opener. It's probably a great opener for their live show too. All right, so diving into the second song on the album, it's called Lyrics Lie. So this song is a little more high energy from the first one here. It has some great vocal melodies, has some interesting lyrics too. Here's one of the lyrics. Remember when you tried to kiss her, but she was gay and liked your sister? Like, I don't know where they come up with some of these lyrics. It's pretty funny. Some really intelligent lyrics too, like I was born with a silver spoon feeding me pure fortitude. I mean, they come from both standpoints. Usually the other vocalist, John, when he's screaming, some of the stuff that he says is so like tongue-in-cheek and off the wall, you have to kind of listen to it twice to get what's going on. But this song overall, I love it. I think it has an excellent hook on the chorus too, not just with the vocals and the lead vocal melody, but the guitar melody too is pretty cool. So diving into the third song, this is actually my favorite song on the entire album. It's called Calentamiento Global, and that is in Spanish, and half of this song is English, half of this song is Spanish. There's a very deep Latin groove throughout this entire song. Really reminiscent of like Mars Volta or some early At the Drive-In. But what's super cool about this song is the Spanish lyrics are sung so precisely and so well, you would think that he's fluent in Spanish, and I'm not sure if he is or if he isn't. And again, some of these lyrics just off the wall, tongue-in-cheek. History repeats itself. I guess I smelt what I dealt, like, to kind of spice it up. And the way that the chorus hits is actually dynamically cleaner than some of the verses, and has just a super strong groove on it. So yeah, check the song out. It's the third track on there. This is actually my top pick. All right, so the next song on this album is called Three Wishes. Instantly starts off with some really cool guitar effects on it, really simple riff, very, very clean. Then comes in some nice groove with the drums and the bass. Jillian's lead vocals on this really carry the verses. It gives you a very kickback feel. I would say this song has some of the most like radio-friendly characteristics to it, like a lot of woes in the background. And actually starts off pretty serious until we get to the pickup sequence, which I believe is the pre-chorus, where they start singing about multiple stab wounds, if you want to hear it here. But there is one line on here that said, "I know you do this. You're awesome, bitch." You're awesome, bitch! So that was pretty rad to have that on there. All right, then diving into the next track, it is called One in a Million, and this just had a music video released for it. Probably has the most amount of hooks crammed into one song than they ever have. Some of the lyrics are like, heal my soul, I'm one in a million. There's all kinds of cool things going on lyrically. There's a lot of really nice like harmonized vocal sections on here if you want to take a listen. Heal my soul, 'cause I'm one in a million. Awesome groove on this. They get a little funky on some of the sections in here, implementing some really like thick bass, some really clean, cool rhythmic guitar sections. Overall, I mean, this isn't necessarily my favorite track on the entire album. It's pretty strong. I think it's stronger than Three Wishes, and it seems like it's been picking up as probably one of their lead singles on here, even though it's not technically a single. So the sixth track is called Parody, Catharsis. This starts off with a really awesome, clean guitar riff, kind of like reggae-ish, I guess you can say, or jazzy. And then it instantly comes into like super high energy, kind of a punk feel on it. Vibe on this song is definitely higher energy than the other ones on here. And some of John Mess's vocals on this are really reminiscent of like old At the Drive-In, or Sparta. So I'm really digging like the vocals or the harder vocals on this track. And then there's also some lyrics in here. At first I thought were trying to be comedical, but it actually is more about diminishing who you are. The lyrics are, I can't believe this, I'm a fetus, I'm a baby boy, my height decreases, I can't reach the counter, find my toys. Once gave speeches, now they're screechless. What can I destroy? I'm not lazy, I'm just a baby, tiny baby boy. Kind of fucking funny, but when I reread it, if you take it from a standpoint of like being a grown adult, that is pretty freaking scary. Like if you were to be diminished back to a baby and be able to do nothing about a situation. So not sure where they're coming from on that, but that was my take on it. All right, so the next track on here is called Strawberry's Wake. Instantly starts off one of the more kick-back tracks. Has some really cool, strong vocals that are really sung with less intensity throughout the compared to the rest of the album. It really kind of showcases the dynamics of Tilian's voice. And then when the rest of the band kicks in, there's a lot of really cool riffs on the guitar. There's a lot of cool back and forth exchanges between clean and the hard vocals.
I want you to matter to you. Forget those backstabbers.
Probably one of the tracks, if I were to introduce somebody to this band, I'd say, why don't you check this one out. Next track on the album is called Born to Fail. Some really cool guitar riffs in here too. Again, this is really reminding me of like At the Drive-In Mars Volta kind of songwriting. Super high energy in the beginning, then when the clean vocals come in, the intensity dies down a little bit, but Tilian's voice is actually pretty strong on this. You can tell he's belting it out rather than just at a normal talking pace. He's really kind of giving his vocals his all. Yeah, so there's lots of hooks on this, lots of high energy overall, and then the end of the song, the outro, super emotional performance by John on it at the very end. His vocals too on this entire track are just spot on. It's just really showing what a machine this band has become, like cranking out consistency one track after the other. Next track up is number 9, it's called Parallels. This definitely stands apart from the rest of the album. Doesn't sound like a typical Dance Gavin Dance song. It's a little more funky, kind of has some back and forth crowd lyrics. The song is basically about, you know, living alone and being your own boss, doing things your way. It's definitely a cool song, especially in the middle when it picks up with this really melodic guitar back and forth to these two guitars. Very, very melodic, hooky guitar riff. That's the thing about this band too, is a lot of the melodies you're gonna be singing in your head isn't necessarily always gonna be vocals. There's a lot of really melodic guitar stuff going on here. So I mean, it starts off really funky, kind of not like any of their other songs, and then it gets towards the end where it's just like kind of breakdown time. Some really cool guitar riffs going on, some cool guitar effects, again, reminiscent like At the Drive-In or Mars Volta, and it has a pretty strong out. All right, next one up is called Night Sway. This one, again, is one of the heavier tracks. Instantly comes in with a ton of energy. There's some really strong vocal hooks on this track, good dynamics. But my favorite part is there's a very Santana-like riffage going on with the guitars that's actually written for a verse. So a super busy guitar riff. I just love the dynamics here. They're taking definite influence from like Santana type lead guitar. This track is a lot of fun, a lot of high energy. I would actually love to see them play this live. A lot of syncopated guitar and drum parts kind of going together. Yeah, so overall, Night Sway, it's another heavy hitter. Track 11 is going to be called Say Hi. This is another heavier track. This is definitely more metal. Actually kind of reminds me, drumming wise, of the last Ginger album. There's a lot of ghost notes on the drum. Excellent performance from the drummer on this song. Some more experimental stuff going on with John's vocals on this one, with the heavier vocals. Lots of good vocal melodies across the board from Tilian on this one, and there's some cool lyrical themes too. The whole end of the song is about, like, did you notice that I'm normal? Kind of repeating that, which is funny because this band is anything but normal or typical. So overall, this is definitely a sick metal track. Props to the drummer on this one especially. His performance is spot on. I was pretty impressed by it. All right, next track up is called Nothing Shameful. This is second to last track on the whole album. Instantly hits you with some really hooky guitar riffs. Hey, you can have it all! And high energy, so right off the bat too, the vocals start. There's no intro on this. So you're diving directly into the meat of the song within like the first 3 seconds, which is pretty cool. This also features some guest vocals from Andrew Wells, who actually just played with them as the rhythm guitarist, and he did extra vocals live. They did a album release party for this, and it was a live stream, which was actually excellent. I was pretty blown away with the sound that they got from their live mix, and he's a very talented singer. So it's pretty cool. This song actually has 3 separate singers on it, so you get all kinds of different dynamics, and they mesh together very well. They don't get territorial with parts, you know, they're open to sharing and transitioning and changing the dynamics of the song on the fly, which is pretty cool. Last track on this album is called Into the Sunset. Very 1950s kind of doo-wop sounding in the beginning. They do their take on that kind of 50s sound, which actually sounds excellent. Way to cap the album off. It's not their most, you know, intense song. They're not going out with a bang. They kind of go out with something different and dynamic. So, I mean, they're no stranger to having hip hop in their verses or having guest people come on and do hip hop, or Will himself sometimes does it seems like. So I thought that was a really good way to twist and end the album, especially since they have so many avant-garde and like chaotic progressive elements to their music. The fact that the very last track, they're kind of taking it way back to the 1950s on the feel and the kind of groove, and then they end it with something super modern, that being some rapping over a verse, more modern lyrics, an approach to it. And the way that it ends is the lyrics are basically saying, stick around, get stuck. You're a clown now, you're a clown now, stick around, get stuck. So I thought that's a pretty cool way to end the album. You're a clown now, you're a clown now, stick around, get stuck. So what are my thoughts overall? Overall, I love this album. This is probably like my second favorite album from them right now. All of their music combines it, puts some new stuff into it, all in a way that if you serve this up as a package, I'd be glad to give this to somebody as the first introduction to this band, even though it's like their 10th or 13th album, I think it is. Yeah, so I would give this, I mean, I give it a strong like 4.5 out of 5. And there's a few things they could have done throughout, you know, to make things a little different, but I think this is as solid as it gets with a post-hardcore band like Dance Gavin Dance. This proves what a freaking machine they are. They're cranking one after another. Like every song on here is good. There's no filler on this album. The fact, there's no filler. And I can't wait to listen to the instrumental version. I don't currently have it, so hopefully I'll find you know, a copy of it, or they'll release it online. Yeah, overall, I highly, highly recommend you get this record. If you want the cool blue edition, you can get it from Urban Outfitters. Yeah, so Dance Gavin Dance, Afterburner, go get it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I haven't done a music review in quite a while. I've been extremely busy. I have 2 kids, I work full time. Corona has fucked up my entire schedule. So I just had time now to get back into doing album reviews. I love reviewing music, especially from bands that I really like. So a few other bands have releases coming out that I will review. Biffy Clyro has a new album coming out in August. Pineapple Thief has a new album coming out in September. So I will be down for sure to do some reviews on those and some overviews on the different variants that I got. If you like this channel, please give this video a like, give me a subscribe. I'm super appreciative of every one of you subscribers who dig my content. If you want, you could dive into some playlists somewhere up here that will appear. I have some more music reviews, some DIY projects you can do with vinyl, gear reviews. I like to review audio gear as well. If you guys want me to review a record, let me know below if something is out there that's not on my radar. All right, I'm Michael, thanks for watching. That was just Miles, who this channel's named after. Go ahead and get out there, do yourself a favor, pick up this album today.